Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Saturday. So, these are gonna be my 2 or 3 favorite stacks, and it seems like half of the games are gonna have winds over 25 miles an hour, which I'm not too afraid of. That just means they basically won't be able to throw deep like half the game. So, there's gonna be a lot of medium to short passes instead of throwing a 40, 50 yard pass. So I think before I get into the top stacks, I think the most popular plays it's going to be Henry, Hunt, and Devontae Adams. So if you're going to play cash games, I'd start with these three and then work your way down. I'm also outside, so if you hear any background noises, my apologies. Hopefully you can hear me over the background noises. So considering this, my second favorite stack, everyone's going to have the Baker Mayfield to Higgins to Harrison Bryant and bringing it back with either Jacobs or Aguilar. Or they're going to try to be a little sneaky and do something like Derek Carr to Aguilar. And I like playing cheap tight ends, but there's so many inexpensive receivers. You can play a Darren Waller. If I told you you can have a receiver that's $5,600 and averages 17 or 18 points a game with a higher ceiling against a really bad secondary, would you play him? Of course. It's like saying that what if AJ Brown was still 5,600? Would you play him against the Browns? Yes. And then I think a lot of people will run it back with Kareem Hunt, who's probably my second or third favorite running back. Well, he'll be really big chalk. I don't know if it's good or bad. You could play him with Hunt, but I like to run it back with Higgins. Higgins should be popular too, but not as popular as Hunt. And with this lineup, I mean, you can do this. You can go Derrick Henry. You can throw in, heck, even Dalvin Cook. Like, these will be two popular plays, but how many people will throw them in the same combination of a lineup? Not too many people. You can throw in, and let's see, we have 4,800. Let's see, let's go down. I personally like AJ Green in this matchup. He's been getting a lot of targets the last 2 games, and he's not deep threat AJ Green anymore. He's short to intermediate pass AJ Green. And Joe Burrow's been looking at him quite a lot lately. 13, 11 targets. He's also, him and Corey Davis are probably your best cash game receivers for consistency. And you can go from there. You can still get your Jamal Williams in there, your Bernards in there, or whatnot. And this is a great team for a cash up or tournament here. Speaking of that, you could go back to the well from last week. I still think Joe Burrow is going to be underowned this week. And pair him up. You can do this. Pair him up with Boyd. And then you can play your Henry with them to bring it back. And also with A.J. Brown. And what you're doing basically is you're not going to play Devontae Adams in this lineup. So you eat the chalk with Henry. But who else is going to play Henry with Burrow, Boyd, and A.J. Brown? Some are, but not the 30 to 40% that have Henry. Also, what I've been observing a lot as of late, in any size tournament, it doesn't matter how big or small it is, a lot of people are not stacking. So your Tyler Boyd might come in at 20, 25%, and then Joe Burrow's coming in at like 5 or 6%. So it's probably 4% are actually stacking. And that can give you a big boost on the competition there. Okay, so my favorite stack, it also allows you to play anyone you want. we're going to go with Jimmy G. The Seahawks have given up the most passing yards. And this week, it kind of reminds me of a couple weeks ago when the Falcons were playing the Vikings. You had Kirk Cousins, who basically had the same stat line Jimmy G does now. Kirk Cousins, oh, I can't even reach it. So Kirk Cousins was getting there 12, 15 points, 18 points, 13 points, 17 points. But it's not really, you're not playing the player, you're playing the matchup. And there's no reason Jimmy G can't get 25 to 30 points in this matchup and go under-owned, because people might be on the Seahawks. They might be on the Russell Wilson to Lockett to Metcalf. But even though this 49ers team is banged up, I prefer San Fran's offense against the Seahawks defense. And Ayuk is probably one of my favorite receiver plays. I talked about it in the last video. And how I like spending down a tight end. Well, this can make your roster construction totally different than anyone else. People might play George Kittle, but how many are going to play this lineup? And you could bring it back, but here's my thinking. What happened last week will probably not happen this week. What will probably happen is DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are going to cancel each other out for ceiling. So what I mean is they both might average 18 points. One might get 15 points, the other get 20 points, or they both might get 18 points. One might get 24 points, the other get 18, 19 points. So for big size tournament, I would kind of stay away from that. And plus, Chris Carson, if he plays, I don't know if he's playing, he might steal a touchdown or two away. Like the 49ers have an underrated defense. And I'm not saying the Seahawks are not going to score points. I'm just saying it's probably not going to just be one player scoring all the points. Like, the only risk you have with doing this San Fran lineup construction is that Bourne might get a touchdown. Trent Taylor might get a touchdown. But on this, Jimmy G is going to be looking for Ayuk and Kittle for most of the game. And then he'll sprinkle down to McKinnon every now and then, but that's what I like. Yep, so let's do that. I mean, let's just do, you can even do, see, in my main lineup, I'm going away from both Henry and Devontae Adams with this lineup. But, I mean, you could throw in Henry, let's see, you want to throw in Hunt, that's fine. Oh, let me tell you, my favorite running back play that's not Henry, Dalvin Cook, or Hunt. I think you got to scroll down here. And so Melvin Gordon. Hopefully the internet's not working out here. So he's not only playing his old team. Even if Lindsey plays, I'm playing Gordon. I don't think Lindsey's going to be playing. He had a concussion 2 weeks ago. I don't think he's been cleared yet. Could be wrong. But if Lindsey's not playing, I definitely like Melvin Gordon against the Chargers. And then let's get into small stacks, like the one-on-one stacks. Well, I have to call them. So for this, let's say I'm going to not play Henry. It's going to take some courage there. Also, Jonathan Taylor has a great matchup, but I don't like how they're using him yet. So, okay, so let's say this. Who can we pair up with Melvin Gordon in this game? There's also a pivot away from Devontae Adams and A.J. Brown, Keenan Allen. So, it's very unlikely someone's going to play Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown, and Keenan Allen. So Keenan Allen's ownership should drop a little bit. Also, with Hunt and Aguilar, it's probably my favorite mini stack. There we go. So it's all correlates together, and I think the way that's different here is people are going to play the Jimmy G, Ayuk, and Kittle, or they'll play Jimmy G and Ayuk, or Jimmy G and Kittle, and then they're going to bring it back with Metcalf or Lockett or both. So it's a little different not bringing it back. It could be the wrong move, but I'm going to take a slightly different approach this week, and I think the Hunt and Aguilar, and then the Melvin Gordon and Keenan Allen, I think those stacks could be more prosperous than just playing Devontae Adams. Although, if you play Devontae Adams in my last video, I really think Josh Reynolds and Denzel Mims at their price point is way too cheap, and it could be a big day. So don't get me wrong, I have my Derrick Henry and Devontae Adams in lineups playing the Higgins at 4,200, the Josh Reynolds at 3,100, the Denzel Mims at 3,200, even Peoples Jones does it at 3,800. But to be contrarian, this might be the way to go. But I don't know. I guess we'll see tomorrow. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for liking, and let's win some money tomorrow.